Y'all, this depression is kicking my ass. Here's the crazy thing about depression. It's not always doom and gloom and hopelessness. Sometimes it's just, I have no fucking energy. And that's kind of what I've been dealing with for the last 2 weeks now, maybe 3. It's kind of crazy to me that I actually lasted like 4 weeks in my high, non-depressed, probably hypo manic state. That was a long time for me, and that was really great. I want that to come back. Everything was just better. When I'm depressed, my focus is not there. You would think that in hypomania you wouldn't be able to focus because your brain would be everywhere, but I was just so on that it was just easier for me to do stuff. I was like, yeah, crushing it. Especially right now thinking about work, I'm like talking to like 3 different people at once in chat, no problem, give me a 4th. And now I'm like, wait, I can't barely handle these 2 people. Like my brain is just like, it's not there. And it just makes everything hard. It makes everything that's not hard, hard, including getting ready and like basic shit like that. And I hate it. Like I hate getting ready when I'm depressed. It's like my least favorite thing to do, which sort of feeds into a vicious cycle because if I don't get ready, then I don't feel as good about myself, and there you go. So I don't really know what's going on. I've been trying my cognitive behavioral therapy stuff, and I'm not going to stop trying because I do think it's helping. I think it's helping me not slip into a major depression, not slip into that completely hopeless, depressed mood and state of mind, but I still just don't have the energy. You know what I mean? It's just not there. That could also have to do with the crap that I've been eating. Like I've been eating just a lot of sugar and carbs and dairy. So all those things are really bad for me, and that's what I've been eating the most of, and I have gained like 20 pounds. Dude, that's like actually a lot when I think about it. Kind of happened over the course of the last, I don't know how many months, but here it is. Anyway, so if you can't tell by now, there is no episode today. Again, because this depression is just kicking my ass, and I just haven't, like, basically I spent one of my days off just like crying and listening to Amanda Palmer of all things. So, but good things is like my phone is gonna get replaced. I also got a camera, which isn't the greatest because the audio that this captures is terrible, but it'll be good for B-roll out in the world, and just like another device, another angle for the actual video. And I'm supposed to start my diet and exercise routine today. I wanted to wake up at 5. It is now exactly 6. So that's where we're at this week. And yeah, I'm just gonna I always do this to myself. I always plan out and say what I'm gonna do, and then I end up not doing it because, oh yay, depression. Which I feel bad, like it shouldn't be an excuse, and I don't think it's an excuse. I think it's just me being real about like what's going on, you know what I mean? It's not like YouTube is my full-time job. If it was, that would be different. I would probably be doing the things I said I was gonna do, but it's not. I have another full-time job in which I am doing everything for 40 hours a week or more, you know? So, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're depressed, that is all you have. That is all you've got. So that is today's video. I just wanted to be real with you guys about what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, and hopefully I can force myself to work out and eat right today. That would be everything. So if that happens, I'll let you guys know. You'll know next week. And actually, I'm thinking that next week is going to be the last and final episode of season 1 of That's Enough, which is going to be episode 10, which is fine. That's like a good chunk of episodes for a first season of something, because I just like don't have it in me to put these episodes together anymore. I just don't. I want to focus on fitness and stuff like that, so I'll make videos about that. But yeah, that's where we're at. The only other thing I'll say is, like, in the last episode that I posted up, I was gonna talk about Black History Month during February, and share what I've been reading and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to share a bit of that. And the reason why I wanted to include anything about Black History Month in my videos is because I do think that it's important for us to know Black history. I mean, it's important for us to know history, but here's the thing about history. it depends on who's telling the story that determines how much of the story you know, if that makes any sense. Like, because a lot of the stories are told from kind of a more white or colonial perspective, that's the history we know. So we don't really know more fully the histories of people who were oppressed during that point in history, if that makes sense. So, for example, like with Black history, I feel like it's especially important to like do some research and to learn more, because for one, we don't really learn that much about it like in school or just out in the world. And two, there is unfortunately still rampant racism in our society. And if you don't think that that's true, just look at our president and you might think he's an anomaly, but he's not. Like, segregation was in the 50s and 60s. Like, that wasn't that long ago. You know what I mean? So the legacy of racism has still been alive and well, unfortunately. I shouldn't say well. It's been alive and horrible, unfortunately. So, like, little things, which aren't really that little, what we know about Black history is completely skewed sometimes. So, for example, like, Elvis is like the king of rock and roll, right? That's what everybody knows him as. But in reality, the king of rock and roll was not a king, but a queen. Sister Rosetta Tharpe. If you never heard of Sister Rosetta Tharpe, look her up. She was like one of the first people, if not the first person, to like use an electric guitar in that way and to kind of play that style of music. And Elvis, actually, it's more well known that he stole a lot of music from Black musicians, and then they just made it popular with this white guy because he was more palatable to the white mainstream audience. So just things like that, it's like you don't really learn about that in your history books or anything, or at least we didn't when I was a kid. And I would also encourage you to look up Black Wall Street, which existed in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was a self-contained, wealthy Black community. They were able to support each other and uplift each other, and they didn't really need to rely on external sources. But of course, there was jealousy and racism, and it ended up getting destroyed by an angry, racist white mob. Thankfully, they were able to rebuild some of it, but not all of it. And so things like that, like if you think about like the legacy of that, like if you had wealth, if you had a business, and then it got destroyed by a racist white mob, like what is the legacy that, how does that affect your children? How does that affect their children? Do you know what I mean? So this is why it's important to study Black history, because it affects our current life today. It affects how we have a racist president. It affects everything. Do you know what I mean? And maybe it doesn't affect everything for yourself personally. It's important to consider how different events in history affect people who are still living today, because we can't just look at our current existence as if it exists in a vacuum. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists on the legacy of things that have happened, and it's important to take that into consideration. So I think that's especially why it's important to learn more about Black history that we don't learn enough about, and that also is sometimes warped, so we have to pay extra attention to do our research there. So that's all I'll say about that. I am currently listening to The Body Is Not an Apology by Sonia Renee Taylor, which, let me tell you, is a trip when you're in this process of like wanting to lose weight, but then listening to this at the same time. And also she talks in the book about how we spend so much money on beauty, especially as femme identifying people. Like, so much money goes to beauty products, and it's true. And she said if we stopped putting all that money towards beauty products and started putting it to other places, we could collapse the beauty industry in an instant and also save a shit ton of money. And I was like, damn, that's true, but it's not gonna happen. Because even as I'm listening to this book, I'm thinking about like, okay, well, maybe I can stop comparing myself to Instagram models. Maybe I can learn to appreciate my body as it is while I'm in the process of losing weight. Or like, even hypothetically, if I never lose weight, can I love my body? Yes, but it's only if I do everything I can to like look better otherwise. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just gonna roll out of bed and be like, oh, here I am. So, well, which I do sometimes actually, but I never feel good about myself when that happens. So anyway, that's just something else I'm reading, which I'll probably talk about in next week's video. And I think that's it. So I wanted to make this as short as possible, since last week was really, really long. But yeah, Depression is kicking my ass. That's where I'm at right now. And I hope you guys are doing okay, but if not, remember just to take care of yourself so you can get through whatever it is that you're going through. And I'm gonna go edit this video, upload it, and then work out, and then get ready for work. Okay, bye. See you guys next week.